Let's be honest, most small talk feels like verbal wallpaper. It's there, it's predictable, and after a while it blends into the background. We all know the script. Hey, how are you? I'm good, you? Busy as always, it's automatic, it's safe, but it's also empty. But what if small talk didn't have to be meaningless? What if it could actually lead to something real? A genuine connection, a memorable conversation, or even a new opportunity? What if you could use simple, well-chosen words to shift a forgettable chat into a moment of impact? This video is your guide to making small talk actually matter. We're going beyond generic pleasantries and diving into phrases, questions, and conversational techniques that open doors, deepen trust, and make people feel seen. Let's start with this idea. Small talk isn't the enemy, disconnection is. The problem isn't that we ask about the weather or mention how tired we are. The problem is that we stop there. We never take the conversation off autopilot. But with just a small nudge, just the right sentence, we can turn small talk into something that matters. So here are the essential strategies and specific things to say that will help you do exactly that. First, ask, what's been keeping you busy lately? Instead of what do you do? The classic what do you do has become more of a reflex than a question. It's expected, and honestly, it often shuts people down. Some don't love talking about work, others feel judged by it, and some just don't find it interesting. Asking what's been keeping you busy lately opens up the field. It gives people permission to talk about whatever they're truly engaged in, whether it's their job, a side project, parenting, travel, or just trying to find balance. It's casual, it's open-ended, and it leads to more revealing answers. Someone might say, I've actually been learning to play guitar, or I'm helping my sister plan a wedding, or work's been intense, but I'm also trying to run more. Now you're in, you've got something real to work with. Second, say, that sounds important to you, tell me more. This one phrase can take a conversation from surface level to emotionally resonant in seconds. When someone mentions something, anything, that seems to matter to them, reflect it back. Maybe they say, my dad's been sick, so I've been spending a lot of time back home, or I've been trying to get back into painting lately. You don't have to pry, but you can let them know you're listening. Sounds like that's been important to you. Tell me more. It's warm, it's respectful, and it makes people feel safe opening up. You're giving them space to be more of themselves. Ask, what's something you've been thinking about a lot lately? This question is gold. It bypasses all the usual topics and goes straight to the mind of the person you're talking to. It can lead anywhere, from philosophical ideas to random obsessions. You might hear, I've been thinking a lot about moving to another city, or I keep wondering if AI is going to take over everything, or even, I've just been replaying a conversation I had with my friend that didn't sit right. You're inviting someone's inner world into the conversation, and that's powerful. It builds depth fast. Reflect with, that makes sense, or I get why you'd feel that way. When someone opens up, don't rush to give advice or relate it back to yourself. One of the most affirming things you can say is simply, that makes sense. These three words signal that you're present, that you're not judging, and that you're hearing them clearly. It doesn't mean you agree with everything, but it shows respect for their perspective, and that's what allows real conversation to happen. Use, how did that feel? Instead of what happened next. When someone shares a story or a moment in their life, our instinct is to ask what happened. But if you want to create emotional resonance, ask about the experience, not just the timeline. If they're telling you about a new job, a breakup, a move, or even a random event, ask, how did that feel? It's subtle, but it deepens the interaction. People are used to recounting events. They're not used to being asked how it impacted them. This opens the door to their real experience, not just the facts. Say, I've never thought about it like that before. This phrase is a gift to any conversation. It tells the other person that their perspective just expanded yours, that what they said actually had an impact. It doesn't mean you agree. It means they made you consider something new. And that right there is the seed of mutual respect. This kind of curiosity keeps conversations dynamic. It rewards the person for showing up honestly and encourages more of it. Try if we weren't talking about work right now, what would you want to talk about? This is a great reset when you feel a conversation going stale. Most people are stuck in their scripts, and this question gives them a chance to break free. Sometimes you'll get funny answers, dogs, always dogs, or surprising ones. I'd probably tell you about this documentary I watched that blew my mind, and sometimes even vulnerable ones. Honestly, I've been really missing my old friends lately. This is where meaningful small talk begins. When people get to talk about what lights them up. Use "that reminds me of something I read, heard or saw" to build connection. One of the easiest ways to keep a conversation interesting is to link it to something engaging from outside your immediate context. When someone shares a thought or story, try relating it to a book, podcast, documentary, article, or experience of your own, not in a one-upping way, but in a collaborative one. You're showing that their words sparked something in you. For example, what you said about burnout reminds me of this podcast episode where they described it as moral exhaustion. It made me think differently about it. Now you're layering value into the conversation. You're not just talking, you're building. Ask, what's something most people misunderstand about you? This question can reveal so much. It invites people to talk about how they see themselves versus how they're often perceived. Some might answer with humor. People always think I'm super confident, but I'm just good at faking it. Others might go deep. I come off as cold, but it's just anxiety. You're creating a space where people feel they can be known, and that's rare in casual conversations. Say, that's such a good question. Let me think about it. When someone asks you a good question, don't rush to answer. Slow down, reflect, saying, "That's a good question," does two things. First, it acknowledges that the other person just asked something meaningful. And second, it gives you permission to be thoughtful. It shows that you care about giving a sincere answer, not just a quick one. And it models the kind of conversation you want to have: deliberate, honest, curious. Ask, has anything surprised you lately? Surprise is one of the most underrated emotional triggers in conversation. When you ask someone what surprised them lately, you invite them to notice their own experiences more deeply. They might talk about something they learned, a person who acted differently than expected, or even a surprising shift in their own mindset. It's a refreshing question that opens the door to stories and insights people usually don't share. Say, "I really enjoy talking to you." It's simple, but don't underestimate how powerful it is to be told that you're enjoyable to talk to. We're often so reserved, even when we're genuinely engaged. A quick acknowledgement like this makes the other person feel seen and appreciated. It builds rapport and encourages more openness. Especially if the conversation took a meaningful turn, expressing gratitude or enjoyment helps cement that connection. Ask, if you could magically master one skill overnight, what would it be? This question is light, imaginative, and revealing. It gives insight into someone's values, interests, and even insecurities without being heavy. It also makes people smile. It puts them into a mindset of possibility and creativity, and those emotions make conversations stick. Use "what made you say that" instead of "why would you think that?" Tone matters a lot. When someone says something unexpected or even controversial, we often default to "why?" questions that can come off as confrontational. Instead, try "what made you say that?" It's curious without being aggressive. It shows interest rather than challenge. It encourages people to explain their thought process, not just defend their opinion. That leads to better, more constructive dialogue. Say, "That's really interesting." Well, what do you mean by that exactly? This simple phrase invites clarity and depth. When someone says something intriguing or ambiguous, don't nod and move on. Pull on the thread. Interesting. What do you mean by that exactly? You're signaling that you're engaged, that you're not just listening for your turn to talk. You want to understand. And understanding, not agreement, is what makes conversations powerful. Final thought. Here's the truth. We don't need to be charismatic geniuses to have meaningful conversations. We just need to care, to ask better questions, to listen more closely, and to speak in a way that invites others to bring their full selves to the table. Small talk doesn't have to stay small. It can be a doorway. It can be the beginning of trust, insight, laughter, or even friendship. So, next time you find yourself in a routine chat, pause. Choose your words with a bit more intention. Say something that matters. You never know what kind of conversation it might spark. What would happen if every casual exchange became a chance to connect, learn, and grow? You'd stop dreading small talk and start using it as a superpower.